Hey, how's it going? My name's Nat. Let's see what's making news. A bunch of countries have released a statement saying they want to continue a ban on Russian and Belarusian athletes from competing in international sporting events, including next year's Olympics. Here's Josh to explain more.
When you think of the Olympics, you probably think of the best athletes in the world coming together to battle it out for their country. But next year, there could be a couple of countries missing. You see, 34 countries, including the US, Britain and New Zealand, have thrown their support behind continuing a ban on Russian and Belarusian athletes competing at all international sporting events, including the upcoming 2024 Paris Olympics. The ban's been in place for almost a year now in response to the war in Ukraine, and these countries reckon there's no reason it shouldn't continue because, well, the war is still going. But the IOC, that's the International Olympic Committee, says that we should be finding a different solution, and reckons that stopping them from competing completely violates something called the Olympic Charter, which is a set of rules and values that the Olympic Games abide by. So they've suggested that Russians and Belarusians should instead be allowed to compete as neutrals, which means athletes could still compete, but without their country's names and flags. And that's something our government also agrees with.
It says it will continue to condemn the illegal invasion of Ukraine, but it's going to support pathways for Russian and Belarusian athletes to compete under a neutral flag. So, watch this space.
Another earthquake has struck the border region between Turkey and Syria. It's been 2 weeks since a deadly quake devastated the area and killed more than 47,000 people. Now another magnitude 6.4 quake has hit, causing more buildings to collapse and injuring hundreds of people. Australia's Molly Picklum has won her first World Surf League title. She took out the top spot in Hawaii yesterday, taking down America's Carolyn Marks by 1 point. The victory means she's now equal world number 1.
Yeah, I'm pretty baffled. It was like pretty slow and then it was just a big flurry of waves at the end. Super stoked to have obviously taken it out.
Today is Shrove Tuesday, or you may know it as Pancake Day. It's a Christian tradition and it's not all just about eating pancakes. Here's Justina to explain.
The smell of butter and maple syrup. It can only mean one thing. Yep, it's Pancake Day, aka Shrove Tuesday.
Yum! So guys, what is Pancake Day all about?
Today is Shrove Tuesday and it's the day before Lent, so we will give up certain ingredients like eggs, butter and sugar and like most dairy products because it was really rich in the day.
Lent is when Christians give up something they love to remember the sacrifice Jesus made. And it goes for 40 days leading up to Easter. So what's the story behind Shrove Tuesday?
Well, there's a little story behind it when Jesus went into the desert and he starved and he started like praying.
It was to be like Jesus and give up all of the food that he got to eat because he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. That's why we make pancakes, to use up all of the rich foods that we would normally have.
If you guys could give up anything for Lent, what would it be?
I would definitely give up some of my sweet treats that I usually have every day because I have quite a lot of them.
I would stop eating so much chocolate because my mouth sometimes gets really full of chocolate.
What's your favourite thing about Shrove Tuesday?
I love how everyone, like the school, gathers around and we have a lot of prayers and I feel like it's a beautiful moment.
Definitely eating and making the pancakes.
Making the pancakes for everyone else to eat.
Now it's time to head to the Northern Hemisphere, where it is pretty chilly at the moment. Take a look. Here in snowy Siberia, more than 2,000 locals are creating an igloo town. Armed with shovels and saws, groups of friends and families carefully handcrafted each icy block. This year, almost 200 igloos were built, but some didn't quite manage to get that perfect dome shape. Now to Canada, where the Freeride World Tour is well underway. This is the third stop of the World Tour, where athletes have been battling it out for a place in the next round, which will be in Austria. Aussie snowboarder Michaela Davis-Meehan took out top spot in the women's snowboard category with an epic score of 83.33. Now, this competition is pretty hot and sweaty, despite all the snow. These colourful characters are taking part in the European Sauna Marathon in Estonia. It's an orienteering contest where teams have to find and visit as many local saunas as possible in the fastest time possible. This year, 18 saunas were on the route, and additional points could be scored by a pit stop in a hot tub or taking a freezing dip in an ice hole. No thanks.
It's the best marathon ever, and the people are very good, and everything's fine.
Well, that's all we've got time for today. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.